Good morning, Totem Pole Nation. We are live through the power of the internet on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and other social medias platforms. You're out of luck. We just do those three, unfortunately. But maybe coming to Instagram one day if they ever have the software integrated with the software that we use. But that's a story for another day. We're here with Coach Troy Taylor on the left. We are here with the CEO of Totem Pole Nation and possible presidential candidate for 2024. I know I'd vote for him. Coach Bald, the mayor of the coast of St. Petersburg.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back here, Totem Pole Nation. Today's life lessons, the 3 C's of life, and they are choices, chances, and changes. You must make a choice to take a chance, or your life will never change. And the first thing that I can chime in on that is, I was not doing good when I was last living in Richmond, Virginia. I was living right off of Broad Street, Fifth and Broad, right by the Marriott, and it wasn't a good situation. I think I lived at a buddy's couch for a little bit, and I decided to, make a choice that I was ready for a change. And I did. I had a buddy and myself. We rented a U-Haul. We toted my car on the way. And I guess 16, 17 years later, here we are. A little bit better backyard view, that's for sure. But yeah, so that's kind of, you got to make certain choices, and you got to be fed up sometimes. So that's what this show is all about. We've been so blessed here at Totem Pole Nation. Just right here recently, one of my former teammates, but a current brother, Jeff Matthews, has come and he has blessed our former football program, the LC Bird Skyhawks. He has blessed these guys in so many ways. There was something that happened yesterday, Coach. I'd love to see the video of it if it was videoed, but can you go into detail, exactly what happened and what type of blessings that we're talking about here?
Yeah, party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth. Yeah, remember that one?
Oh,
Gabe
yeah.
Brooks' best choice she made, my friend, was moving to Florida. I totally agree. He would still be at the Boulevard and Broad. All right, he's a hustler, homie. All right, he would be one of the guys that Mr. Big talked about last night in his podcast. That's what Coach Bald would have been called. They probably would have called him Mr. Bald, maybe Mr. Beast before Mr. Beast. But yesterday, we had an angel gift from an unknown source donated $1,000 to a guy on my staff who is an Army veteran, Gam Moten. He's on the channel. He will be coming back here soon. That is Coach Moji the OG from New Jersey. I've known him over 20 years. He's been with me for 5 years here at LC Bird. He was with me at Meadowbrook, and he has not gotten paid one penny since he's been coaching and helping these kids. He started off as a youth football coach, so you don't get paid in youth football. He's retired from the military, and we tried to pay him 1 year, but he didn't want it. And this angel gift giver asked me who's the low man on the totem pole at Bird. Is there a custodian? Is there somebody who doesn't get the credit? And I said, well, there's a guy who works harder than anybody. He puts on all the wings to all the helmets. He cleans the field house. He does the uniforms. He does everything everybody else doesn't want to do. But he's a great person. And yesterday we presented Coach Moten with a card signed by the whole team and $1,000 in cash gift from this angel giver. who did not want to be named, but who else is giving out $1,000 handshakes? I mean, I don't know anybody. I mean, look up this guy, everybody. This guy's name was Thomas Cannon. Thomas Cannon from Richmond, Virginia. There's very, very little done on him on the internet. There's only two YouTube videos done. This guy lived in north side of Richmond. He lived a life of poverty. He was a postal worker, but he gave away $1,000 a time. Starting in the early 70s, he would just read an article in the paper and write a check, find the person's address, and send it to him. Like somebody saved a cat from a tree. He would send him 1,000. But the dude was poor. He's known as the poor man's philanthropist. Some people accused him of trying to buy his way into heaven. But my mentor, Coach Bland, met him. And Thomas Cannon was different. Thomas Cannon was special. We've talked about him. There's Thomas Cannon. He was featured on Oprah's show at one time. Jay-Z, Sean Carter, LeBron James. You want to make a movie about somebody, make it a movie about this guy. He died broke. He gave away over $250,000 throughout his life, and he lived in poverty. What do you see there?
His annual salary never exceeded $25,000. Wow.
And, there was Jeff Matthews caught some flack for giving this money away. Yeah. Thomas Cannon caught some flack for giving his money away. Now we got Wayne Klingman here, says, never take a chance with naughty redheads. Choose her sister instead. Embrace the change that a same woman brings. Way to go. Wayne Klingman, one crazy woman is enough for a lifetime. Now that's a life lesson. The one thing I want to talk about before I leave today is we took a chance. We made a choice to start this YouTube channel. And we started making videos last football season of my coaches talking about sports. And then Coach Bald became a part. And then we started doing the clinics. And then we met the SEM, brought the SEM into Totem Pole Nation. And we've all had so many blessings from this. All right. One, I've been able to meet some of the best football coaches of all time. Two, I don't know if this is true, but I don't even know if Jeff Matthews would have reconnected with us, Kyle, if you had not gotten on Facebook because of Totem Pole Nation and we started streaming this show. So that's two huge blessings that have occurred because of this show. Now, we've got numerous sponsorship deals with the clinic that have gone to the football program. Totem Pole has been blessed with sponsorships. Sarah Blake Cheek, Coach Bald. Coach Lambo took a chance, sent a young lady, a woman with 250,000 followers on Instagram, I believe, 250,000 followers. And she came on the Low Man on the Totem Poles podcast. Just had gotten off the Coach JB podcast. We are stupid, Johnny. We're not smart. We didn't even know she was on Jason Brown of Last Chance Used podcast. We had her on. She kept coming on. Then she met Coach Bald. Coach Bald, what blessings have occurred? You've only been involved with this since January, I believe. Really all in.
Without a doubt, that right there was a huge blessing. We did our weight loss raffle. She won it, and she posted a before-after picture yesterday, and she has lost 25 pounds. It's been unbelievable. That's just game-changing. That's the thing too with our bodies is, guys, we could skip eating for 1 or 2 days and drop 10 pounds. A woman can starve herself for a month and gain a pound. It's just weird how the body works, but I'm just so proud of her. She embraced the process. She didn't just take the shot, lay on the couch, and think magic was going to happen. She worked her tail off. She ate properly. She did what she was supposed to. And, man, it's just phenomenal seeing what has happened with that. Same thing with Fidel Sierra. Um, he won our ketamine infusion raffle, and that has changed his life. We're talking about a pro wrestler that came in at a level of 10 as far as 1 to 10 pain level. He was at a 10 with his neck, his back, and his legs. Afterwards, the man, it cut it in half and brought it down even further. He's at a level 3. On a bad day, it's at about a 4. But just those two are just small samples of what's been going on. And it's amazing. I'll reach out, on my Facebook. I like to give props. I like to say, happy birthday, Melvin Mendez. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, uh, Dawn Marie, I believe. But yeah, I like to say stuff like that, and I tag them. And then the next thing I know, I get a private message of people just like, "Hey, man, I love what you're doing. You guys are doing a great job." And I'm just like, "Man, I didn't even know you knew what was going on and what we're doing." It is a special thing, and it was special with the SCM. I got one of my crazy lunatic uh, little brothers down here that goes by the Madness, or that goes by the Bone Saw, and he linked up with these guys, and he was like, "Man, these guys, they know their stuff. Like these guys are pioneers. They're legends of the sport. They know more. They've forgotten more than we've ever learned. These guys have read their magazines. They probably got stacks of magazines, posters from back in the day. Like, we need to link up with these guys. You were talking about wrestling. Why don't you get the best guys out there for the gig?" And we reached out, and it was magical. It's happening, and yeah, man, the future is bright here at Totem Pole Nation. Johnny, what do you think about coming on, and what you've seen with what we're doing and everything?
I think it's great. I never knew it existed until it's people talk about social
Neither do
media,
we.
how it can be a bad thing, and anything can be a bad thing. Anything at all, you can make it bad. People can taint certain things, but I got on Twitter, and I just talk politics, shitty memes of and professional wrestling. Those are the three things that I would dabble in on Twitter. If I saw a music video I liked, I threw a music video up. But I saw all these same guys commenting on things that I was posting about professional wrestling, and dare I say, politics also, Don Wayne. And I'm at the SCM, and I said, I saw Motorhead, 7-Eleven, who's one of the SCM. He does a podcast with me and Don on Sundays. And I said, I like you SCM guys. We get along good. We're all like-minded individuals. And I heard back in a private message, "Hey, brother, you want to join?" I said, "Who do I got to murder?" And he said, "You don't have to kill anybody. How much does it cost?" "Doesn't cost anything. This is what you got to do." And he told me what I had to do, and I did it. And basically just throw a background up on your profile and put the hashtag SCM after your name.
You did what you had to do. You did what you had to do. I mean, bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah. No one had to sleep with the fishes, and no cement overshoes or galoshes or anything like that. But next thing I know, I heard that, "Hey, we're hooked up with Totem Pole Nation. We're going to do a podcast." I said, "What?" And yeah, we're going to do a podcast. You want to do it? Who wants to do it? And so basically, it was a casting call. They did. Yeah. Everybody at the time in the SCM, they were going to let on the show, the talk and chime in and all that good stuff. And the only three that showed up was me, Motorhead, and Don Wayne. And we had we did have a couple of guys. We had Scud. He was just strictly there as chatting, and I think his voice was on the first one. He didn't have his picture up, but no video. But he had his voice. Vocally, he was there, and we did it as a group on Twitter. Twitter groups, whatever it's called. I forgot what that function is called.
Twitter Spaces.
Twitter Spaces, yes, where it's just audio, no video. That's fine. We did that as a test run, and we wound up here in Totem Pole Nation. I think it's fantastic. I mean, I'd do it. I'm retired. And, folks, if you think these guys are raking in the money at Totem Pole Nation, they're not. They're not getting paid for doing this. They do this out of their own goodness of their heart. They do the life lessons every morning. They're up at 7:30. They put up aside what they've got to do. You see, one man here is in his office in his school, taking time out to sit here for a half hour to an hour a day, doing life lessons with Coach Bald and me. And I just jumped on here just because Coach Taylor, was sidelined quite a bit with coaching the kids in the morning.
Yeah.
So instead of having to be a one-man show, I said, you need me to do it, I'll do it. He said, hey, come on. Coach Ball said, come on. The more the merrier. If you got something to contribute, Totem Pole Nation will take you under their umbrella, under their wing.
Yeah.
And I feel fortunate that I'm here. Nobody's making money. I don't get paid for doing this. Neither does Coach Taylor or Coach Bald. We do this because we like doing it. And, people, apparently people are listening to this thing and what we have to say. So, hey, God bless them all.
I want to ask Jeff something. Jeff, if we had not started Totem Pole Nation and Kyle would not have gotten onto Facebook, would any of the blessings that have been received from to LC Bird have occurred? Because I was thinking about this morning. If we hadn't started Totem Pole Nation, Jeff just gave $1,000 to the LC Bird band. Wow. Yeah. And I read Jeff why he gave it, and he loves the show. So put in the comments, Jeff, was it because of Totem Pole Nation and the Life Lessons podcast that we got reconnected? I would assume it is. But I love y'all. Jeff, you're the best. Johnny, you're the best. Kyle.
I got to ask, before you go, I want to ask you one question. Before you go. You said what you did when you started Totem Pole Nation. All the people you had on, you never said why you started it.
Oh, the first reason we started the YouTube channel was me and my son. We were making videos about NFL and NBA, and we would screen record other people's videos, and then we'd add music, and then we were collecting cards. So we would post stuff about cards on Twitter and Instagram.
So it was a hobby, basically. It's like a hobby to you.
Yeah, it was something me and my son. Yeah, it was something me and my son started doing, and it had a lot of different names. I think at first was Jordan cards because we had a whole bunch of Jordan cards, and then it became 804 cards, and then it became I think from 804 sports cards, I think it might have went to Totem Pole cards, and that's because we went to the card show, and we were telling people we're the low man on the totem pole. Because our cards were not good. Mm-hmm. If you needed the Mickey Mantle rookies and the Michael Jordan rookies, you're at the wrong table. Jeff Matthews says that end scene of Willy Wonka is where the kid gives him back the gobstopper. Willy Wonka says something about good deeds. Johnny Bottles. It's been a long time since I've seen the original Willy Wonka. Do you remember this in your pop culture expertise?
No, I don't. I'll tell you why. Wow. Because I saw Willy Wonka once, and I hated the movie, and I never went back to rewatch it. I never watched the Johnny Depp version of it. And they've got a new one coming out, which is a prequel. It's the origin of Willy Wonka. I have no interest in that whatsoever.
So, Coach Bald, basically, we got the golden ticket. Jeff, who am I? Am I Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, or are you Willy Wonka? Johnny Depp's pretty cool. Gene, what's his name? Gene, what was the guy's name?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Gene Hackman, I thought.
Not Hackman, no.
Richard Pryor and
Gene Wilder.
Whose dad was a famous movie producer. That helps. If you want to be a movie star, if your dad's a famous movie producer, hey, it's like being the son of Bill Belichick. Kyle, here it is. Kyle sent a friend of ours a video of us as kids is what brought me back to Facebook.
Wow.
So that was the video, and those videos still have not been found. The Wolf Boy compilation. All right. So I got to go. I love y'all. But, dude, we started Totem Pole. Really, we started it because my son wanted to get monetized, which means you make a penny for 1,000 ad views. Yeah. So we had to create original content. We kept getting denied monetization because we kept using everybody else's videos. We were just putting different music on and stuff. So then I started recording the coaches and we got monetized. So yeah, that was how it started. And Wayne Klingman, you're the best. I love you, man. Totem Pole, I'm out. Rock it, guys.
See ya. There he goes off into the sunset.
Friday football practice. Ooh, man, I'll tell you what, it's got about a month, I think less than a month until it is Friday Night Lights. Man, I tell you, that was probably some of the best times of my life, Johnny Bottles, was the high school football, the pepper rallies, just, I always loved this. I always loved, going on the road, playing on the road, and just going to another stadium and then booing you. I always just liked that feeling. I always tried to look and be as intimidating as possible. And our coaches were very strict with us, and they didn't like us taunting or anything like that. But yeah, I used to love that. I used to love being on the road and just being the bad guys and going out there and with my band of brothers and just playing our tails off. That was one of the best things. Were you did you do any high school sports growing up?
High school wrestling, as a matter of fact.
Okay, awesome.
High school wrestling, yes.
What was your weight class?
My weight class was 175. I was in there.
Okay,
I got thrown around quite a bit, and I got my bell rung. And a lot of these guys thought they were Bam Bam Bigelow. They thought they were, Randy Savage, and doing what they saw on TV. And the coach kept saying, he called them the groaners, professional wrestlers. Don't imitate the groaners. Now you're doing what the groaners do. Don't imitate the groaners. If I see anybody jumping off these bleachers with an elbow, you're going to detention. So I said, oh, God. And I had no preconceived notion of what it was. I thought it was a lot of holds and, things of that nature. I didn't think it was going to be headbutts, foreign objects, things like that. So I tapped out of. When I got my bell rung, I tapped out. And back then, they didn't know about concussions or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I had trouble concentrating. I'd go into a room and forget what I came in the room for. And just felt lethargic. And we didn't know what a concussion was back then. No one knew. No one gave a damn. You'll be okay. Walk it off. Go home and lay down, which is the worst thing to do. Go home and go to sleep.
Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah. Rub a little dirt on it. I'm surprised that when you name this the 3 C's, this life lessons for this morning, you didn't name it the 4 C's. You left the C out.
Coffee. Coffee, the most important.
Yes.
That's what really gets the C's going is the main one, the coffee. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Talking about the C's, I had when I met Mrs. Bottles, I thought Mrs. Bottles was a very attractive, very smart woman. And she had dated a friend of mine, and they had split up. And it was like a year since they had split up. And I didn't know whether I was going to go ahead and ask her out or anything like that. And I decided to do that. And it changed my life for the good. Because I was just like, running around and, I was married twice before. And I was running all around and going to bars and chasing after women and all that bullshit and doing dating apps. You know what I mean? Folks, just a pro tip, folks, if you haven't used it, plentyoffish.com. The pictures of everyone on there are 20 years old. Just give you a pro tip for plentyoffish.com. I met one woman at a restaurant, in the lobby of a restaurant, and she looked like my mother. But on plentyoffish.com, she looked like, some swimsuit model. But when I saw her, she goes, "Are you John?" "Well, yes, I am." "And you are?" "I'm Sheila." "Hi!" And I'm going, all right, we're in this for an appetizer and a couple of beers.
Yeah, but let me get another beer.
Right, right. You know, Plenty of Fish, the big thing is you meet first to have like a meal, and a couple of drinks to get to know each other. And yeah. But anyway, going back to Mrs. Bottles, I took a chance and asked her out, and we got along famously. The rest is history, and we're doing fine. I relocated. I never would have. I never would have went to Florida. I never would have got the chutzpah like you did to make a change and move to Florida if I didn't make a choice. How did that go? It's a little early. How did that go again? What was the sequence of the C's?
Three C's are: you must make a choice, to take a chance, or your life will never change.
I made a choice to take a chance, just like you did, and it changed my life completely. And it really changed my life in March of this year when we moved down to the Sunshine State. So I had no idea how big a state Florida was, dude, until I came down here. You told me, hey, I'm in St. Petersburg. I'm thinking, Google Maps. Okay, that's no problem. Man, that's an hour and 47 minutes away. And a buddy of mine moved to Sarasota when he retired from the bread company. Come on down to the house. Check it out. I'm typing it in. Wow, he's 3 hours away. And one of my best friends just retired from Northrop Grumman. And he bought a house in a retirement community down in Hobe Sound on the other side of the state from you, the other coast. I typed that in. He's 3 hours away from me. And I'm thinking, man, this state's enormous. I always thought when I was in Maryland that driving to the resort town, Ocean City, Maryland, was a haul. That was 3 hours away. And no one likes to do that drive, but we do it anyway for, a nice vacation. But I said, man, driving to his house is like, Hope sounds like going to Ocean City. You have no concept of, once you get out of your comfort zone, of how big this world is. Get out of your comfort zone, folks. And experience life, experience the world. But you got to make a choice to take a chance to make the change.
Yeah, that is awesome how you met Mrs. Bottles. I'm sure that was kind of intimidating, an intimidating moment. What did you have to get like the blessing from the buddy, or did you just say, "Hey, man, you guys didn't work out"? How'd that
It was
go?
a year. It was a year, and he had already moved on. He was seeing two girls at the same time. That's one of the reasons why they split up, because he was a player, and
It's a great.
he didn't take the news kindly for some reason, even though he's dating two girls. That sort of ended my relationship with him when he found out that I was seeing her, Mrs. Bottles. He got a little salty, and we almost came to blows because he was so mad about it. I couldn't understand, what is wrong with you. Why are you like this? You haven't seen her in a year, so what's the problem? And the problem boiled down to he couldn't stand to, if we were all going to go somewhere and he's with whoever he's with, and I bring her along with the crew, with the people that we hung out with, he would feel a certain way about it because he was that insecure. So, folks, money and women do affect relationships between you and your buddies. Don't think that it doesn't. Money and women do ruin relationships between men. So, be that as it may, I'm here and he's not, and he had nothing but hard times afterwards. And I wish him well. That was that was 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago. She had two kids. I had two kids. We blended the families, and we get along famously. Everything's great. Grandchildren. We've got, good Lord, 3, 6, 7 grandchildren now between the two of us. And it was wild. It was wild getting acclimated to
Florida.
no, to the kids. Just being a step parent and all that. You know what I mean?
What's
she
the
was.
ages of the grandkids range?
Let's see. I've got Camden, who's 13. Connor is 9. Macy's 9. Wyatt's almost 3. He's the guy who has the pit bull as a sidekick. I've got Braden, who's 16. I've got Gracie, who's 18, who She just got a scholarship for college.
Nice.
So, yeah, they're all doing well. Braden likes to work. He would call me up and say, "Hey, is there anything you need done over the house?" And he was like 12 years old.
That is
12 years
awesome.
old. I said, "Well, like what?" He goes, "I don't know. You need any painting done? You need your lawn mowed? You need this or that? I just want to work." He's not going to do it for free, but he wanted to work. At age 14, they got him a work permit so he could work at a crab place, just carry out for crabs down in a little town where he lives. And hasn't missed a day. He loves going to work. He loves making money. And he's, at his age, I think it's fantastic. He's doing good in school. Nobody's doing drugs. That's all that really matters. They got
Yeah,
good work ethic and they're not on drugs. They don't get in trouble. So, what more can you do?
absolutely. So let me get. I would say this, for the younger ones, I would say under, the 16-year-old, the rest of them. There's this book called The Way of the Warrior Kid, and it is by Jocko Willink, Way of the Warrior Kid. I got that for my granddaughter Sophia, who is 10 years old, and I think there's like five different levels that you can get. It kind of starts off where kids in elementary school, and it works its way up to high school, and they just have a lot of life lessons in the book, and uh, but she just fell in love with this book. We were on a road trip, and the wife was driving, and I just pulled out the book and started reading. And the next thing I know, the car is just completely quiet. And I look in the rear view, and I mean, she's just her eyes are just glared on every word I'm saying. And it did. It's one of these books where it challenges you to get better. There's just so much good knowledge inside of it. And midway through the first edition, what happens is this kid moves in with an uncle, or the uncle moves in with the kid, and the uncle's a former Navy SEAL, and he just has this book of warrior codes, and it's all kind of different warriors, samurai warriors, uh, United States Marine Corps ethos, but it says each one of their values and everything. And towards the end of the book, the grandson or granddaughter or son or daughter, what they'll do is they'll make their own warrior kid code, and basically, it's just like the rituals, how we do our apple cider, how we do our greens, how we get our steps in, stuff like that. But it kind of puts them on a path. Well, she is one also that likes to work, and she wants things. She'll come up and be like, "Papa, this is I want this. I want to start doing this artwork for my future business. Is there some stuff I can do around the house?" And one of the things I always have her do is I have a little pooper scooper, for the dog. And she'll go in the backyard, she'll get it all up, get it out of the way and everything. Well, before she left for the summertime, she came over and she did it. And I mean, she always does a really good job. And when she's doing work, if she doesn't do a good job, I kind of pointed out, said, "Hey, you do this part," and man, she always takes care of it. Well, the one time she scooped up all the poop and everything was good. And like later on during our get together, because we had other friends and family over, I yelled, "Sophia, Sophia, Papa just stepped in dog poop." And I'm not kidding, Johnny. She ran, she grabbed that pooper scooper and ran over as fast as she could. And I was like, "Man, I'm just kidding, but thank you, thank you." You know what I mean? Just her sense of urgency and her wanting to help out. It was just like, man, what a great kid.
Right.
I thought
Absolutely.
I thought it was so, it was so funny just to see how reactive she was, man. It was just like, wow, this little girl, boy, she's got Papa's back forever. I love it.
You got a good one there, pal. You got a good one
Yeah,
there.
and it's cool because she lives in a great neighborhood when she's back here, and I want to say there's probably a good 8, 9 kids in their cul-de-sac. So it's always entertaining. Their birthday parties, they're putting on shows and stuff like that. It's really cool. But yeah, she shared the books with everybody. And yeah, that's just been a book that, give to your loved ones, give to the little ones. read a chapter with them. You know, I like changing up my voice and everything and reading in certain ways. And man, they just love that. But yeah, that's a book I definitely think, the youth need to, you know, it's just, they got good principles and good methodology. You know, why is it good to keep your room neat? Is because you always can find your favorite toys. You know, it just makes sense that way.
Coach, I got to ask you a question. The way kids are nowadays, do you think it's the product of people being too busy to teach their kids? You think they just rely on the electronic babysitter, the TV, or video games to keep their kids busy? They get them cell phones now at like 9 years old, which is ridiculous, in my opinion. But I guess they use that as an entertainment device, an electronic babysitter to keep them busy so they don't have to deal with the kids when they rush home from a 9 to 5 job or maybe a 10 to 6 job and try to get dinner on the table, get the kids from the babysitter, clean the house, do laundry for the children, check homework. What do you think the problem is? What do you think the breakdown is from
Yeah,
with children nowadays?
I think it's kind of a double-edged sword for parents these days because you have pretty much your computer at your hand, all the time. And I think the problem is just prioritizing and kind of executing what you need done. You know, you have to put time for your kids. You know what I mean? And you have to prioritize other things around them. It's got to be tough, but I know this. I know when the grandkids are here, there's a lot of times where I'll be on my phone, and the wife will say, "Hey, get off your phone," and I'm just like, "Yeah, let me get off my phone." And uh, whenever I do that, I just end up having so much more fun. And same thing with the granddaughter. She's right there. She's in that same age category. She has her phone. And when she comes over, I'm just like, "Look, Sophia, let's put that phone away, and let's just play. Let's just have a good time. Let's watch a movie, and do stuff like that." But yeah, it's got to be tough. But I think you have to be very disciplined yourself, and I think you do. You have to be disciplined with your kids at an early age, because if you wait too long, you're going to destroy them at the end. They're not going to
Mm-hmm.
be able to make good choices. They're not going to know what common sense is. They're not going to know how to use good manners. They're going to come off being disrespectful because you've always done every single thing they've ever needed, and they don't know how to fix any problems that they've caused. You know.
I had a kid come to me. I'm not going to mention the child's name. It's one of my own that came to me with a roll of toilet paper and said, "Can you get this unwound for me?" She just pulled it out of the pack. I said, "What?" "Yeah, can you start this for me? I can't get it." I said, "Figure it out." And as she walked away, I shook my head. And she must have been 7 years old and couldn't start a roll of toilet paper. She's never pulled one out of the pack before. And started, you got to, finagle because processing and all that is pretty stuck together to start the sheet, to tear a couple sheets off. I'm thinking, I looked at her like she was from another planet because she was never in that situation to start a roll of toilet paper. I'm thinking, how many other things does she not know how to start or do? And don't have to worry about that now. She's a very successful businesswoman. So, but
Awesome.
it blew my mind at the time. And I'm thinking it's a lot of these kids nowadays just they would have somebody do something for them. You know, someone else get their hands dirty, someone else to take care of, someone else to start a meal, someone else will cook something in a hot pocket in the microwave for them, things like that. I just don't know, man. I just don't know. I sort of lost faith in today's generation, especially from what you see on Twitter, the way they comment on things. Their opinion is the only one that matters, and they're completely right, and they're hard headed. And I'm thinking this is a product of a kid who's learning from social media, who's learning from the internet, and not learning from real people, not learning from the parents, not learning from an aunt or uncle or a grandfather or a grandmother. So we're missing a lot of that in today's society, my friend. we're missing a lot of the old school ways that are taught. I don't know. I hope we can pull out of it. What is this generation called? Generation Z? There's always a new name for it every year. Is this Z? They're not millennials. Millennials are 30 years old now. I would say I'm a boomer. I'm a product of the baby boom period from the 50s. And you're younger than me. You would be, what would you be?
X, right?
X?
Yeah.
Okay. So this has got to be Generation Z, what we're dealing with now. What's the next one going to be called?
Yeah, I saw something the other day where it was saying, you know, cars that are not manual and something else are going to ruin this new generation. They're not going to know how to do any of that stuff. You know, how to drive a stick, or there was something else that was
They don't know.
really fun. What was it?
I said they don't know how to drive a stick. They
Yeah,
do
yeah,
not know. They've got no clue.
Yeah. Yep.
And another thing they don't know is parallel parking. At least in the state of Maryland, they took parallel parking out of the driver's test. And my youngest daughter would always park up on the corner if she couldn't get in the driveway or in front of the house. Why'd you park all the way up there? Well, where else is there to park? And I'm looking around. There's a spot there. There's a spot right across the street from the house. She'd have to parallel park. I said, you know how to do it. I taught you how to do it. Yeah, but I was never good at it. It's too much trouble.
Oh my God. Parked in the grass. Now you got to mow around the car.
Yeah, that's what we do now. We park right on the grass here.
We did. We one time, Johnny, we had a party here, and we had told a friend, our buddy Manny, we were like, yeah, man, just you're going to have to move your car. Just find a spot. And the next thing I know, like, he pulls up, and I mean, like, he's this close to the window, like right in front of the house. And I was just like, I had to show the wife. You know, I didn't even like, to me, I was just like, it just blew my mind. And then I showed her.
Am I seeing this for real? Honey, am I seeing this for real?
Who does this? Who does this? And then the boys were like, well, there's a certain section of Tampa that he's very familiar with, and this is how they do things there. And I'm just like,
was the gentleman who did that, was his name Madness?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was his buddy, so, you know, who knows? He probably, they roll together, so they might just share the same brain cell.
I hope that one of these life lessons I'll learn the secret origin story of Bonesaw, aka the Madness.
Well, I can tell you a little bit about that, actually.
Okay.
One day I was, just driving, and I saw this person, sitting at an intersection. And you know how you'll see people, holding up the little signs, we'll work for food, hungry, my family left me and everything. So I see this dude, and to me, I'm a huge wrestling fan. I was like, man, this guy freaking looks like my man, the Macho Man Randy Savage, right? And then I start looking at his sign, and his sign read, $2, bad advice. And yeah. So I rolled down the window. Remember that? How you used to roll down the window?
Yeah.
I rolled down the window, and I said, "Hey, buddy, here you go." And I gave him $5. And I said, "I'm good on bad advice, but just pay it backwards. Take care of the next guy." And he was like, man, thanks, brother. And I was like, all right, cool. And funny thing is like, I'd seen him, at another time at another venue, and I was wearing a red Road Warriors t-shirt, and he had a story about those guys, and he loved them. And I was just like, man, we got this thing, totem pole, man. You might be a good person to have on there and everything. Yeah, it's kind of been like that ever since. And he'll go through phases where I'll talk to him every day, then I won't see him for 2 months. He'll be soul searching and everything. But
You know you got to be a hardcore wrestling fan when you dress like Randy Macho Man Savage 24/7.
man, I think that's just his. That's just. I don't know. Probably when his bad luck started, he was probably bald headed, handsome, and yeah, man. Now he's just kind of. He's a hairy guy, man. But he's a
Yeah.
very funny guy, very entertaining,
Hmm.
and man, the guy likes to party. The guy likes to party, and I don't think he discriminates with party accessories, if you know what I'm saying.
I got you. I'm
Yeah.
hip. Well, now I know the secret origin of madness.
Yeah, but it is, and I believe what we're going to try to do is, I think we're going to hit up a baseball game and maybe even get him to a football game this year. I know he loves the home teams down here. He loves the Tampa Bay Bucks, and he loves the Tampa Bay Rays. So he loves the Lightning as well. So huge sports fan too. So it was like, man, this dude, let's give this guy a chance, man. This guy, he could be a pretty inspiring guy, I believe. But
Right.
yeah, man, he took a chance. He's made a choice, and thanks to him, we'll probably never change.
When Mrs. Bald met Madness for the first time, what was her take on him? I'm
uh,
sure he was decked out in the full Macho Man outfit.
yeah, her thing was, this looks like the perfect candidate, for the ketamine infusion. This guy looks like he's got severe manic depression. He looks like he's got multiple personalities. He looks like the perfect, person that would take this up. There was a movie back in the day where, you know, and I'm not saying that he's, like that, but there was a movie where there was a guy that was down on his luck, and then he ran into a woman that shaved him up, got him looking good, got him the gear. There's been a couple movies. I know that Can't Buy Me Love, that was
Hmm.
one, where the guy
Hmm.
was kind of nerdy, and then they turned him into a stud. But there was another one where the guy had the whole beard and everything, and looked really wild. And then, they shaved him up, put a nice suit on him, and man, the guy looked like $1 million. But yeah, I think that was kind of the thought process of like, man, this guy could use this. I've seen people, depressed and just wild like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's kind of what she thought as well. And yeah, man, she thinks he's hilarious. He's definitely a cheery guy. But he has actually been one of our better clients. And when we get calls from him, it's for the IV hydration therapy.
Wow.
Yeah, he will. I think he'll go on some of these, weekend, 2 week, 3 week benders, and then he'll call up and he'll get his IV hydration therapy, and the next thing you know, man, he's back at whatever he's doing. Yeah.
Oh, I need a high V, brother. Is that what he
Hey
says when he
man,
calls? I need a high V, brother.
I need sink, peak, rejuvenate. I need cultivate wellness. Oh man, it's
And
great.
when he comes in, he's got the hat and the glasses
Oh
and
yeah,
the hair, the whole 9 yards.
yeah.
That is epic. That is tremendous.
Yeah, yeah. We have this nightclub they just opened. I sent a few videos the other week, but I think it's called Good Time Charlie or something like that. But it's right downtown St. Pete, and I mean they got the old disco, everything, the colors, the floor, and everything. We got to get him up in there,
Oh
make a little
yeah,
cameo appearance. Maybe he can find his future Miss Elizabeth or his sensational Sherry or something like that. But he'd fit in perfect with
dude, I
those
gotta
that
see
guy.
that. And you gotta be there with your camera, with your cell phone, and record that when he goes in. I gotta see that on Twitter.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
would be amazing for a guy who dressed the Met folks. If you haven't seen the Madness, check him out on Twitter as Bonesaw. Just do a search for that name. And if he's got Totem Pole Nation in his, in his handle, you'll see that that's the guy we're talking about. It's like Bonesaw with a bunch of numbers after it, I believe, something like that. But
Yeah, I
he's
think
dressed like, what is it?
it's bone, and then a little bottom slash
Mm-hmm.
saw, and then I want to say it's 24/7 365.
And he is dressed as Macho Man Randy Savage, the wrestler from the WWF, 24/7. He's got the Party City wig on with the hat, the wraparound Oakley shades. He's got the beard. He's got the of varying degrees of tie-dye shirts and things of that nature. I would wager he's even wearing tights, because I only see him from the waist up. He could be wearing tights and cowboy boots, as far as I know. But
Yeah, he's one of a kind, and the thing is too with his at the age that he is right around the same age that when the Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth had split up legitimately. Uh, so he could be the illegitimate son. Is
he could
what
be.
is
He
what
could.
we have been, you know, given information on. He may or may not be. So pretty crazy stuff. But yeah, check him out. Go follow Johnny Bottles right now if you're still tuned in. We're all over Twitter. And definitely, I want to give a huge shout out Sideline Design, keeping us looking fly. Go get you on your sports cards. Make some shirts with their logos on it. They are phenomenal. A huge shout out Cultivate Wellness. Check out the website. They'll deliver it right to your door. And yeah, big shout out to St. Pete Rejuvenate. Big shout out to our one of our besties, Totem Pole Nation First Lady, Miss Sarah Blake Cheek. Congratulations to you. Dropped 25 pounds. That is just unbelievable. That is life changing. But big shout out to all those people. And any last words for everybody for the weekend, Johnny?
Yes. Give us a thumbs up. If you like what you see, you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up. Helps people to find us on YouTube. Folks, subscribe if you like the content you see here. Check us out on Twitter at Totem Pole Nation. Check us out on Facebook at Totem Pole Nation. And as always, we're here on YouTube at Totem Pole Nation. Be safe. Have a good weekend. And we'll see you Tuesday.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, to the next episode.